I don't know, it's just really weird. I don't know, like, whenever I speak, I don't really have a filter and shit, so when I'm making, like, political arguments, it's not true. I don't know. Whenever I'm talking to somebody that I actually fucking, you know, want to be friends with, I try to have a filter, but, like, I feel like it's harder to express my political beliefs whenever I'm kind of forced to be put on a filter socially. I don't know, it's weird. Like, you know, it's it's very strange. It's a very, I don't know, it's just everything, like, about, like, systemic racism and stuff. I don't know. It's we. I don't know, because, like, I know that there's no. Well, I don't believe that there is systemic culturally. Yeah, I can see it culturally, which it usually leads to. I don't know. Whenever, I don't know, say, like, 77%, I don't know, feel kind of bad. I don't want to be guilted. I don't know. Into, like, stuff. I don't know. This is a dumb idea. I don't know, it's just like whenever I see 77% black people feel like they've been hurt based off the color of their skin. It's terrible, man. No one should feel that at all. I mean, but, like, at the same time, how much is it hindering? I know, like, just because I don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but if this many people experience it, you would think that I would have to witness it at some point. I don't know. Maybe I just live in a good community where race relations are great. It's very, yeah, very likely. It's very possible that I just live in a community where race relations is really good, and I don't really get the chance to see it, or I don't know, may, maybe it's them projecting stuff happened based on theirs. I don't know, because 70 fucking percent is a lot of people. Oh, I guess those statistics are also based proportionally. So, say you pull 10 people, 7 out of 10 say that, well, that makes it 70%. I guess it depends proportionally how many people you actually survey for that, and then 48% say that they're threatened. Well, holy shit, if that's true, goddamn, 48% of all black people, that's a lot of the population in America also. Um, it's got to think, like, maybe it is true. Maybe it is true that 48% of all black people face death experience because of their race, simply because they were born with pigment. If that is true, how do we fix it? I don't know. It's this kind of things, like, we need solutions. And even if I'm going to roll with that, which, honestly, I want to tend to believe you on this, I really do. It falls upon solutions, I guess. If that is the case, like, I would obviously feel bad. I mean, if that is the case, I would obviously feel bad, like, very bad. I don't know. I mean, more social programs could obviously be very helpful. I I fully support social programs. Social programs are great in a lot of ways, especially community run. We cannot have a social program that, well, social programs are not government run, but we can have a program that is government run. Government tends to mess things up, and I think a lot of people agree with that. I think maybe more community effort, community leaders, and that has happened. I mean, definitely. Now, a lot of communities have come out against this stuff, and I think abundantly clear as they should. Almost every major politician has come out against it, at least against racism in some fashion. I know Republicans are more likely to criticize because of the violence that put on. I think rightfully so, rightful criticism. But I mean, a lot of Republicans want help at the same time. I I mainly know this true because I'm practically one. I don't like affiliating myself with a party because Republicans are fucking terrible. Republicans are better than Democrats, but Republicans fucking suck. Anyways, mainly because I've seen it. I mean, you've seen these people offer up police reform deals. You've seen these people want to spend more time in these type of communities to learn more. I mean, I don't know, because if it is true, then I guess I could never understand properly. I mean, it's just hard because I can never speak for them. I can never. I can never experience it, so it's hard to grasp the severity. I don't know if that's the correct word to use, but it's hard to have a better understanding of it. Now we can obviously listen to their own life experiences. I think listen to people individually and learning how we can more help them, or more social change, which is definitely happening. Dude, at the peak of Black Lives Matter, you had over 75 or 70%, I believe it was, across America supporting them. This was after George Floyd wrongfully got murdered. It was huge. Holy shit! It was like the only time the Republicans and Democrats were united under one goal. But that quickly shifted as riots started, and one party ended up supporting the riots and saying they were justified. Another party didn't. They split extremely quickly. But yeah, I remember the time after that. The parties were united. Everyone agreed that this was a bad incident, and I think that shows what America really is, what we as people can do. I mean, suffice it to say, they split very quickly and probably for the worse. I mean, of course, police brutality is a very bad thing, and especially whenever they go against a specific race. But a lot of these, I guess I kind of roll my eyes at them, even though I care. I really do care. I roll my eyes at them because you can't just show a video to me and say this is because of their race. This happened because of their race. I don't buy that all the time. I would agree in some instances. Yes, it was absolutely because of their race, but it can't be true every time, can it? I mean, with how many police interactions there are, it can't always be true that it's race. It could be that a cop was having a bad day, and obviously a bad cop. I'm not saying this guy is good. Having a bad day, and no matter who he saw, he was. It only took one measure to have it escalate to guns, no matter who he or she stopped, and that's just what happened. I think that news media is doing a terrible job at covering this stuff. Um, in regards to that, uh, you have such a slanted bias in the media when it comes to stuff where you only see black people getting shot and you don't get a full representation of maybe Asians, maybe Latinos, maybe uh, white people as well, because well, there's more white people in America obviously than any other race. Uh, so why not show that of police brutality? I feel like it would help your case instead of it would. Oh, I guess what I'm getting at, it would also help the black community as well as everyone else if they didn't make it about race. This is one of my main problems with Black Lives Matter. I know I'm kind of getting away from race relations itself, but whatever. This is one of my main problems with Black Lives Matter. They make it about race. It's all about race when I don't think it's that. I do not believe that it's all about race, especially when it's not. I feel like it's more clearly a class issue, and there's more white people in poverty than black people. I think the poor trailer guy, poor white trash trailer dude is just as much subjugated to police brutality as the black dude living in Detroit. Or the poor black dude, I should say, not just any black dude, because as it turns out, middle class people of color, I don't like using people, whatever, I don't care. Middle class black people tend to have better police experience than lower class. Obviously, it's not a constant, but it's a tendency nonetheless. This is so dumb. So yeah, I think that it's more subjugated, and when you also look at the crime rate among the black community itself, is extremely high. Also, so obviously you're going to have more interactions if that's the case, and more potential for brutality among the police sides and among the actual person. So I also think that a good solution would be local police. As it turns out, people support local police more than they do their state police or the federal police. I think this is mainly because the local police is literally your neighbor. Your neighbor is the police officer, your friend, your dad, your cousin. That's the police force, right there. And whenever you get to know these people on a personal level, it definitely helps. It helps so much when you get to know these people on more of a personal level. So I think that's good. A stronger sense of community. This is true for almost any issue, ever. Get a stronger sense of community, get to know people more, get to understand people's beliefs and how they feel, and as it turns out, you become closer. You come to understand why things happen. Now, will that fix all of the problems? No. Will that solve racism? Of course not. Will any solution that's put forth solve racism? No. Racism will always exist as long as multiple races exist. And that's just a fact. It's a terrible fact, but it is a fact nonetheless. So yeah, stronger local police community. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, I guess in terms of cultural racism, I would say yeah, it definitely exists. But I don't know. It just, I said earlier, it just feels like, from my experience, I know, I guess my experience isn't really valid, but from me talking to people, I don't know. I didn't really want to bring this up, but it's been on my mind. Oh, I have a friend that's black, so that means I must not be racist. That's obviously a stupid argument, but no. One of my closest friends, on my cross country team, he is black, and we we don't talk a lot necessarily, but whenever we do, we talk about real stuff, real shit. Um, and I was talking to him one time, and he straight up said that he hasn't really ex- he doesn't think racism is systematic. Now I know this is one person out of millions of black people. It may just show indicative of our community. Maybe our community relations is just better than other places. Could be true. Could be very true. Because as much shit I talk about Ambridge, Ambridge is a very great place. But he said that he never really experienced anything that was racist, and he doesn't believe that systematic racism exists, which is interesting. He believes that racism exists. It's hard to deny that, especially when it's false. Racism does exist. He thinks racism exists, but it's not systematic. I think mainly to imply that it is systematic is to say that there is laws in the books. That's what systematic means. The institutions are either racist, the institutions itself, or are racist, and there are laws in the books that push African Americans down. That's what systematic implies, or that's what it is. It doesn't imply. It's exactly what it is. I think this is why whenever conservatives say that there is no systemic racism, because it's not. Based off the definition of systematic. Yeah, I can't fucking speak now. Systematic. There's no laws on the books. There's no laws that are racist. There's no systems that are actively trying to suppress. Are there a couple bad people in the system? Are there a couple bad politicians? I agree 100%, yes. But the system itself is definitely not racist, because if it was, I feel like race relations would be a lot worse than they were now. I mean, for God's sake, we just had a black president not too long ago, 4 years ago, in fact. Well, it's closing on 5, but you get the point. We just had our first black president. Now, you can say, oh, well, there's been 45 presidents and we only had one black president. That's fair. Fair argument, I guess. But doesn't it show that America isn't racist as a whole? Or, at the very least, taken major steps in the right direction, as I think, was it like 65 to 6, I think it was like 65 to 70. I don't remember the stats right now. I think it was 6. I'm going to roll 65 million people voted for the guy. So we have what, 340 million? 60, 120, 180. That's like 1/5 of our entire population. That's not even including people who don't vote. They don't like voting, which I think is a majority of us, considering what, only 140, about 145 million people voted in this past election. We have a population of 340 million. So I think that America as a whole is not racist. Are there a few racist people? Of course. That's true anywhere. But as a whole, America's not racist. Yeah. I usually do these rants without recording them. Like this time, I record it. Now I have it. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I have it. I might eventually upload it to YouTube or something. I don't know, man. So yeah, whatever.